Wait, please don't go like this.
You are not leaving. Let it go now.
The wedding was 1 day away when I found a photo of my husband and his true wife in the back of the closet. He'd already had a wife. Then who was I? I knew the woman was his childhood best friends. I photographed it and texted him, explain this. I figured it was some kind of prank. Then his friend's voice message came through. 60 seconds. Hey, I'm so sorry. We were at a bar last night, had a stupid idea, got a little drunk, and just went and did it. Don't worry. Once the 30-day waiting period is up, we're filing for divorce immediately. We'll give him right back to you. I was quiet for 2 seconds. Then I blocked her. 3 hours later, Ethan came home. I was already at the bottom of the stairs, luggage in tow. He glanced at the certificate sitting on the coffee table and pressed 2 fingers to his temple. It's not a big deal. She was just messing around. You're really going to hold this over everyone. You've been waiting for this wedding for 6 years. You can't wait 1 more month. I smiled. I didn't deny it. No, I can't. Ethan blinked. He stepped in front of me on instinct. Mia, stop. Don't do this. The invitations are already out. If you leave now, what are our families supposed to do? I moved his hand aside and kept walking. His voice finally went cold. You're going to throw away 6 years over something this small? I stopped. I turned around. 6 years. Ethan. When you signed that certificate with her, did you think about those 6 years at all? He had nothing. He forced out something useless. The bar was loud. The guys kept pouring drinks. She took a lot of them for me. She was pretty out of it herself. Everyone was egging us on. I wasn't thinking straight. They basically dragged us there. He paused, looked up, recovered his usual calm. It was a joke. We'll fix it. I looked at his unbothered face and didn't even have the energy to argue. A joke. If marriage could be a joke, what in this world was actually serious? I turned away. His phone rang. He looked at it. It's Cassie. She knows she screwed up. She wants to apologize to you. I ignored him and opened the door. Cassie was already standing outside. Sharp pixie cut. Leather jacket. Keys dangling from one hand. You're actually leaving? I wheeled my suitcase around her. Cassie clicked her tongue and grabbed the handle. Really? I said I'd apologize. Isn't that enough? I'm the one who talked him into it. I'm the one who kept pouring. If you're mad, be mad at me. Don't take it out on Ethan. Ethan came out behind me, brow tight. Cassie, be respectful. Give her the bag. Cassie didn't give it back. She pulled it further behind her. If I do, who's he going to swap rings with tomorrow? She turned back to me. Look, unlike you, I don't spend my whole life orbiting some guy with zero career of my own. She stepped closer, voice carrying an edge she didn't bother to hide. But even I know, a guy like Ethan, the dinners, the schmoozing, the situational flirtation, that's just business. We grew up together. I helped him fight his battles. You weren't even in the picture back then. She let out a short laugh and looked me over, getting all dramatic over one little joke. Can you act like a grown-up? I met her instructional gaze. Calmly. Since you're so mature, I said, and so concerned about him, then you go. Tomorrow. To the wedding. You be the main event. That certificate becomes the real thing. I pulled my suitcase back. Cassie's expression cracked. Her chest rose and fell twice. Then she smirked. Fine. She dug into her bag, pulled out her copy of the certificate, pinched it between 2 fingers and waved it. This little thing bothers you that much? Then I'll just tear it up. Consider it my apology. She meant it. Rip. The certificate split straight down the middle. Cassie dropped both halves on the floor, then stepped on them. Done. Happy now? Her voice was loud. Like she was the one being wronged. If you can't take a joke, you can't take a joke. This is so boring. Ethan's expression went dark. Cassie, what are you doing? She shrugged. Fixing your problem. Certificate's gone. She can calm down now, right? She turned to me, satisfied. Then she shot me a look eyes already going red, and ran. I stared at the red scraps on the floor. A few seconds of quiet. Then I looked at Ethan. That's her apology? He watched the spot where she'd disappeared, rubbed his forehead, irritated. She's impulsive. She was trying to let you vent. Let me vent. I nearly laughed. She tore up the marriage certificate. Before you two can file for divorce, you'll have to go replace it. I dropped the smile. Ethan. She wasn't letting me vent. She was rubbing salt in the wound on purpose. The fingers pressed to his forehead tightened. She didn't think that far. Right. She didn't have to. I nodded. Because in the end, it's not her problem. I stopped looking at him, grabbed my suitcase, turned around. The driver helped load it into the trunk. Ethan caught up, pressed his hand against the door before it closed. He leaned down to look at me. Mia, go to your parents' place. Cool off. Think about whether you're being unreasonable. But tomorrow, every guest and every reporter will be there. You know how to show up as a proper bride. Our family's reputations are not yours to throw around. I slowly lifted my head. There it was again. Our family's reputations. 6 years. Every time Cassie crossed a line in the name of best friends, I'd wanted to walk away. And every time, he either made it fuzzy with "we grew up together, don't read into it," or he did exactly what he just did. Lowered his voice and told me, the families come first. Because he was sure I couldn't leave. Not emotionally. Not financially. He never once thought about putting distance between himself and Cassie. I did believe nothing physical had happened between them. But what I'd seen every single day. Cassie draping herself across his back, asking him to carry her. Cassie drinking from his glass like it was nothing. Cassie calling at midnight to vent. Cassie going through his phone whenever she felt like it. And me, his partner, the one the family had approved. Living by Cassie's personal philosophy that a man should build his career before he settles down. Holding the family's position stable while he built his empire. Waiting for him to be ready to give me a real marriage. I waited. I watched him carve out his own business. Make Forbes under 30 list. I spent 6 happy months planning a wedding. And then, a marriage certificate. A bar. Her name on it next to his. First it was all the small things. Now she'd even slipped herself into the legal definition of his spouse. As a joke. Our family's reputations. I repeated it softly. Then shook my head. You keep them. That's your job. Last line. The wedding. I'm not coming. As for the bride. I pulled the door shut. Marry whoever you want. The car pulled out. Miss, where to? The driver asked. The airport. My phone vibrated the whole way there. Ethan. My mom. His mom. Mutual friends. I declined every call. Turned it off. For the first time, I was not being good. And I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Light. But just when I thought I was free. That lightness shattered the moment we pulled up to the terminal. My parents were there. My brother Jamie. And the family's adopted daughter, Sierra. Jamie ran up first, grabbed my suitcase handle. Mia, what is wrong with you? If you leave, what happens to us? The company's on life support waiting for the Harmon Group investment. My mom took advantage of the distraction and snatched my purse. Sweetheart, I heard everything. Just wait for them to divorce in a month, and it's like it never happened. Stop causing a scene. Sierra drifted over, soft-voiced. Sis, I know you're hurting, but we're family. Can't you think of us just this once? Just this once. Was that really what it was? At 18, I signed over Grandpa's shares to her. At 21, when she had her eye on someone, I stepped aside from the engagement Grandpa had arranged for me. An old money family. The Yates. At 22, I drank until I was hospitalized to smooth over a business dinner for the family. At 25, I took the fall for Jamie's embezzlement to protect the heir's clean record. Every single time written off as family, and it's what you do. Since the day I was brought into this so-called home. Had anyone ever thought about me? My parents' warmth and favoritism had always flowed straight to Sierra, the good daughter, the one they'd raised from childhood. Jamie had been carried his whole life. He was a leech, and he knew it. If it hadn't been for Ethan walking into my world like a light through a window, I wouldn't have lasted this long. He saw through my silence, understood the things I couldn't say. With him there, Sierra's digs and my parents' favoritism had stayed in check. I fell in love with him, depended on him. I held on like he was a life raft. I'd pushed so hard for him to marry me sooner, convinced myself that once I had my own home, I could finally leave this suffocating place behind. For that, I'd told myself Cassie's boundary crossing was something I could tolerate. But now, even that last stupid hope was gone. Give me my bag. I held out my hand to my mother. Calm. She blinked. Didn't move. Come home first. We'll talk when you've settled down. Jamie groaned and stamped his foot. Mia, I'm begging you. Just get through this one thing. Once the funding comes in after that, you can do whatever you want. I looked at this brother who'd been pampered his whole life. How much money would it take to save this family, I said, so it doesn't have to sell off another daughter? Jamie flinched. He gave me a number. It was staggering. I nodded, pulled out my phone, found an unsaved number, pressed call. It rang 5 times before someone picked up. $3 million in cash as a wedding gift, I said. If you agree, we get married tomorrow. The breath on the other end paused. Then agreed. I said okay and hung up. $3 million. It'll hit the account. Jamie stared at me. Mia, are you serious? My parents' faces went from desperate to flooded with relief. My mom moved to grab my hand, already scolding, sweetheart. You can't just talk money with Ethan over the phone like that. It damages things. Exactly, Sierra picked up the thread, performing concern. Sis-in-law will think less of you. People will call you a gold digger. My dad cleared his throat and put on his patriarchal voice. All right. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is that it's settled. The original agreement with the Harmons was $500,000 up front. This time he's offering $3 million. It means he values Mia. Mia, I don't want to hear you say selling daughters again. Embarrassing. You and Sierra are both our girls. We love you the same. I laughed. Short. If it's the same, why didn't you offer Sierra for this one? The Yates are older money than the Harmons. Stronger by a mile. Sierra went white. The Yates were more prominent, and, because of it, stricter about bloodline. When they'd come to discuss the engagement, they'd looked at me the whole time. Sierra hadn't even been formally introduced at that meeting. The Yates hadn't wanted her. Everyone in that room knew it. My dad's expression flickered. Why bring up old history? Then we won't. The money's coming. Problem solved. I cut him off, grabbed my suitcase. Let's go home. You want me walking down the aisle tomorrow, don't you? I left without waiting for an answer. Back in the car, my phone buzzed once. A location pin. Then a second message. Tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a white dress. I stared at the pin. Same hotel. Back at the house. The air was thick. I went straight upstairs. The Harmon side had already been told. The bride has returned. Wedding is on. Satisfied, presumably. The crisis was over. The ceremony would proceed. That was enough. Whether or not the bride was willing, no one thought to ask. The next morning, the house had none of the warmth a wedding day should carry. No bustle. No joy. Just a cold and indifferent quiet. My parents only changed into appropriate clothes when the housekeeper reminded them. Ethan's motorcade arrived on time. His suit was immaculate. His expression composed. The groomsmen surrounded him. The energy among them was easy and warm, but no one from the bride's side came to block the door. They were just awkwardly ushered in. My mom held a practice smile. Jamie looked like he hadn't slept. Ethan scanned the room. No family friends. No laughter. He knew Mia wasn't close with her family, but seeing it this plainly on her wedding morning, a hot flash of anger settled in his chest. Where is she? Still getting ready. His voice was flatter than usual. Oh, probably still upstairs doing her makeup. Her mother said, uncertain. She turned to the housekeeper. Go check. Is she ready? Cassie laughed softly. Relax. A bride's supposed to make you wait. Ethan's brow stayed locked. He pulled out his phone and opened Mia's messages. A red exclamation point. His fingers went still. He'd been so sure last night. He hadn't even noticed he was still blocked. A cold unease expanded in his chest. Cassie leaned in, saw the screen. Gasped lightly. "She still has you blocked?" The ceremony's about to start. Before she finished, the housekeeper came running down the stairs. "Ma'am, the young miss isn't in her room. We checked everywhere. She's gone." The air in the living room locked up. Gone? By the time they pulled the security footage, they found she'd left hours ago. Ethan's chest went airless. He told her to come back. She'd still pulled this. One of the groomsmen suddenly held up his phone. "Ethan, look at the group chat. Someone posted a video." "Wait, isn't that Mia?" Ethan grabbed the phone. The video was from the same 7-star hotel where their ceremony was booked. A figure in a pale cream dress was being led by a staff member toward the bridal suite. He recognized her instantly. His bride, Mia. The knot in his chest loosened halfway. "See?" Cassie said immediately. "I told you. She just wanted a dramatic entrance. She's there. That's what counts." Her mom rushed to agree. "This girl couldn't say a word. Gave us all a scare. Let's get to the hotel. Don't miss the timing." Ethan breathed out, pushed the frustration down. The motorcade reached the hotel. Ethan exchanged brief greetings with arriving guests. Every seat was filled. The officiant was ready. He turned and headed for the bridal suite. He stopped at the flower-decorated door. Knocked. Soft voice. "Mia? It's time. Are you ready?" Silence. His expression tightened. He turned the handle. Unlocked. The room was bright and empty. Everything she'd been given, the gown, the jewelry, still laid out untouched. But no bride. And then the thing that turned his blood to ice. Cassie was standing in the middle of the room. In the gown. The custom one. Worth a fortune. She spun when she heard the door. "Ethan, you can't just come in." His temper surged hard. "What are you doing in here? Where's Mia?" Her eyes went pink at the edges. "Why are you yelling at me?" The ceremony was about to start, and she wasn't out yet. "I came to check if she needed help." She wasn't here. The dress was just hanging there. She looked down and tugged at the skirt. It's so beautiful. I couldn't help it. I tried it on. Take it off." The vein in his temple jumped. "Now, if Mia sees this." Cassie's lip pressed together. She started picking at the back lacing. Then someone knocked. The hotel manager came in quickly. "Mr. Harmon, the ceremony start time has passed. The officiant is asking if the bride is ready to enter." Before he could answer, a clear sound of orchestral music drifted from somewhere close, followed by distinct applause. The manager's smile became apologetic. "Also, Mr. Harmon, the ballroom next door has just begun an unscheduled ceremony. The timeline is quite tight on their end. If your side is unable to start just yet, would you consider briefly yielding the corridor? We'd hate to disrupt the other event. It's a Yates-Carter wedding." "A Yates-Carter wedding." Ethan repeated it. "Which Carter?" The manager kept smiling. "I'm not entirely sure of the details." Ethan paused. A nameless unease moved through him, but he had no time to chase it. He dialed the groomsmen group. "Mia's not in the suite. Split up and find her." Then he turned back to the manager. "This wedding was booked 6 months ago. We're not moving." The man looked uncomfortable. "Mr. Harmon, the timing really is." "There's no conflict." Ethan cut him off. "Let my fiancée hear that her aisle is being cleared for someone else." His voice dropped. "She won't be happy." His phone buzzed. A photo from one of the groomsmen. He opened it. His breath stopped. A slender figure in a wedding gown half-turned, one hand lifted to her ear, on a call. The dress was different. Simpler. More elegant. The line of her neck. The exact curve of her shoulder. She was stunning. Something hot moved through him. All the days of tension and anger and suspicion, and this one photo smoothed them flat. He was finally going to marry her. The thought filled his chest with something unfamiliar. Something that steadied him. There had been complications. But now everything was falling back into place. He would have a home. He'd have Mia. Maybe children soon. He zoomed in. Wanted to see her better. Cassie appeared at his elbow and glanced at the screen. She pouted lightly. "Don't you think I looked better in it?" Ethan barely registered her. He glanced over. His mood had released enough that her remark barely landed. Offhand, "Looks like she didn't love the one I picked." "Fine." He pocketed his phone and turned to go find her. "Ethan." Cassie grabbed his arm. He stopped, looked back, frowning. She tilted her face up. The loose, careless grin she always wore was gone. Her voice was unsteady. She asked the question that broke through every layer of best friends, and it means nothing. "When you walked in just now and saw me in the dress, what did you feel?" He looked at her red-rimmed eyes, at the expensive gown on her body. The faint warmth the photo had put in his face drained away. What did he feel? He hadn't thought about it. Cassie in a wedding gown was undeniably striking. There was something arresting about it. But they'd known each other too long. So long he'd nearly forgotten she was a woman. What he felt toward Cassie was closer to a man's possessiveness over someone who belonged in his orbit. He liked that she revolved around him. Liked feeling needed, admired. But he liked more the ease of holding two women in careful balance. Mia was home. Was the one. Cassie was novelty. Was electricity. He'd never imagined having to choose. Or rather, somewhere underneath, he'd assumed that with his position and his capability, he could keep things this way. Cassie's tears. Her question. They tore the paper screen open. He was still for a moment. But the feeling was brief. His reason and the ceremony pressing forward crushed it. Not now. His throat moved. He looked past her eyes. "Cassie, not now. This isn't the moment. Change out of the dress." He turned and walked out toward Mia. I was on the terrace outside the ballroom finishing a call. I turned to go inside and walked straight into Ethan. "Mia." He was slightly out of breath. "You're here." The groomsmen and Cassie poured in behind him, filling the doorway. "Sis-in-law, you're something else," one of the groomsmen called out, grinning. "Gave us a serious scare." Wandered over to the next venue. "Right," the other added, surveying the unfamiliar room with its full tables and glittering setup. "Is this a location comparison? Didn't like the decor on our side." Cassie stepped to my side. Deliberately light, deliberately warm. "You nearly gave Ethan a heart attack." She laughed and scanned my gown. "That's pretty too. But the star of today isn't here for someone else's party. Come on. Everyone's waiting." I didn't move. She leaned in close and dropped her voice to something bright and quiet. "By the way, legally speaking, you'd technically be the other woman right now. But don't stress about it. We know the truth." She winked. "Congratulations on the wedding, though." I looked at her. "Thank you," I said. Her smile stalled. She hadn't expected that. Ethan stepped in front of me. His eyes held reproach. Exhaustion. And underneath it all, the steady assurance of a man who knew this was a tantrum he just had to wait out. "Done with your call? Let's go back. We've lost time, but we can still make it." He paused. "Generous. If you actually like this room setup." He looked around. "I'll talk to the Yates. We might be able to switch. Whatever makes you happy." He said it so naturally. As though me standing here, in another wedding gown, were nothing more than a brief runaway act. And he was the patient husband coming to collect. His groomsmen watched. Certain. Waiting for me to do what I'd always done. Cave a little. Come back grateful. Fall back in line. He reached for me. Palm up. I looked at his face. The handsome face with its faint impatience. In front of everyone watching, I turned slightly and spoke quietly to the hotel attendant at my side. "Could you please let the officiant know we're ready to begin?" The attendant bowed. "Of course, Mrs. Yates." "Mr. Yates has been ready." "Mrs. Yates." The certainty on Ethan's face split open. His outstretched hand froze in the air. Every laugh, every murmur behind him cut out. I finally lifted my eyes. Through the soft blur of the veil, I looked at the man I had loved for 6 years, waited on for 6 years, who looked, in this moment, unbearably small. I didn't look at Ethan. I just spoke. Clearly, one sentence at a time. Ethan, look carefully. I turned slightly. This dress. You didn't choose it. I raised my left hand. On my ring finger, the diamond he just slipped on caught the light. This ring. You didn't give it. I looked past his bloodless face. Today, standing here, marrying Nathan Yates. That's me, Mia Carter. I took a breath. Your wedding. Your bride. None of that was ever mine. Mia, stop it. His head was ringing. He refused to process what was already assembled in front of him. A Yates wedding. A bride named Carter. All of it had to be a mistake, a scene she was staging for him, one last act of defiance before she came back. He held on to one thing. Mia was his. She always had been. She was right now. She would walk down that aisle with him. His fingertips were almost at her wrist. Ethan. A calm voice cut between them. Nathan Yates was standing at my side, half a step ahead. Please don't. 3 words. That was all. Ethan's hand stopped in the air. He looked up. Really looked. For the first time, at the man standing in his place. Not the quiet, low-profile guy he vaguely remembered. A man with a density of presence that didn't announce itself. Mia and I are in the middle of our ceremony, Nathan said, even and clear. If you're here as a guest, you're welcome. If you'd like to offer congratulations, we'd be glad to receive them once the vows are done. He glanced at the groomsmen by the door. That goes for all of you. Then his gaze settled back on Ethan's face. If it's something else, I'm afraid now isn't the right time. Now isn't the right time. Said lightly, which made it land harder. It placed Ethan precisely. An intruder. A non-factor. Ethan's breathing went ragged. The rage he'd been sitting on broke the surface. He looked at Nathan. Mia is my fiancée. Mia. His eyes locked onto mine. Tell him whose bride you are. He was betting on the last 6 years. Betting I'd soften. Betting that none of this was real enough to hold. Somewhere the music had stopped. Every person in the room was watching me. I lifted my eyes. Through the haze of the veil, I looked at the man I had loved for 6 years and waited on for 6 years. He looked, in this moment, very far away. I didn't look at Ethan. I just said it. 1 word at a time. Ethan, look carefully. I turned slightly. This dress. You didn't choose it. I raised my left hand. On my ring finger, the stone Nathan had just placed there caught the light. This ring. You didn't give it. I looked past his pale face. Today, standing here, marrying Nathan Yates. That's me, Mia Carter. I paused. 1 breath. Then the last sentence. The one that severed everything. Your wedding. Your bride. None of that was ever mine. I didn't look at his face go gray. I placed my hand steadily into the curve of Nathan's arm. Let's continue, I said to him. Nathan looked at me for a moment, then nodded at the officiant. The next second, the wedding march filled the hall again, fuller than before. It swept over everything. Nathan walked me forward, step by steady step, toward the altar at the end of the aisle. On both sides, guests began to clap. My family's composed expressions had long since collapsed. None of them had seen this coming. That the man I was marrying today had nothing to do with the Harmons they'd spent years courting. That it was the Yates, who operated on an entirely different level, who wouldn't have thought twice about the Harmons. As for how I'd gotten Nathan Yates to put $3 million on the table, that was my business. It had nothing to do with their scheming. Nothing to do with the hollow shell my family had become. The guests who had been invited by my family, who were supposed to be here for the wedding on the other side, every single one of them had drifted to this room instead. Not out of loyalty to the Carters. Out of instinct for the more valuable alliance. Their applause built into something that filled the entire hall. Behind me, silence like a held breath. I didn't need to turn around to picture Ethan's face. But that was no longer mine to carry. The ceremony reached the moment that mattered most. The officiant's voice was warm and measured. Mia Carter, do you take Nathan Yates to be your husband, to have and to hold, in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer, for as long as you both shall live? The room held still. Every eye on me. I do. Clear. Steady. No hesitation. No. Ethan's voice cracked across the room. His eyes were red, fixed on me. Mia, I won't allow it. You're mine. You are leaving with me right now. He lunged toward the altar. 2 security guards caught him before he made it 2 steps, locking his arms. Get your hands off me. Do you know who I am? He fought against them. His expensive suit twisted out of shape. Every trace of the controlled, polished man he'd always been was gone. Mia, look at me. I'm the one you're supposed to marry. Nathan, let go of her. The Yates family elders in the front row frowned faintly, but didn't seem alarmed. They had clearly planned for disruption. Then a figure in white burst from the side of the crowd. Cassie. She'd put the gown back on. She pushed to the front, held her phone high with the screen facing out, and screamed. Everyone listen. This whole thing is a mistake. I'm the Harmon bride. Look at this. We already have a marriage license. Her hands were shaking as she angled the screen toward the guests, the officiant, the Yates family. On the screen, a marriage certificate. Open to the interior page. Look at her. She pointed at me, voice climbing higher. She's the one who went behind my back. She got caught and now she's running to someone else. I don't care how powerful the Yates are. You can't change the fact that she's the other woman. She will always be a joke. The room erupted. Gasps. Whispers. Eyes moving rapidly between Cassie's phone screen and me. My family's faces had gone from blank to ash. Everyone was holding their breath, waiting for the Yates to react, waiting for me to fall apart. Cassie stood tall, certain she'd just played the card that turned the game. But the first person to crack was not the Yates family. It was not me. It was Ethan. Cassie, shut up. What are you saying? He wrenched his head toward her, still held by the guards, voice ripped raw. I'm not lying. Cassie screamed back, more frantic now. You won't even admit I'm your wife? Right here in front of everyone. It's not real. It was a bar stunt. It doesn't count. The words came out before he thought about them. He couldn't admit it. Not here. Not in the Yates house. Not in front of Mia. If it doesn't count, we can just check the county records. Nathan, who had been silent, spoke. He leaned slightly toward an assistant and said something low. The assistant nodded and left quickly. Ethan and Cassie were escorted from the room. The officiant lifted his voice. Let's ask everyone to settle. We'll continue with the ceremony. Toasts. The receiving line. Farewells. Everything moved with a quiet, mutual warmth. The room felt like what it was supposed to feel like, 2 families joining genuinely. By the time the last guests filtered out, I sat down in one of the private rooms the hotel had reserved and let out the first real breath I'd taken all day. Nathan handed me a glass of water. Tired. His voice was attentive, not intrusive. Ours had started as an arrangement, a transaction. But the care he'd shown today was real. I'm fine. I shook my head and looked out at the darkening sky. Today, thank you. It was agreed to. Nathan smiled. Lightly. The Yates keep their word. As for your family and the Harmons. Before he could finish, a knock. The hotel manager stepped in and addressed Nathan quietly. Sir, Mr. Harmon is still outside. He's insisting on a few minutes with Mrs. Yates. Nathan raised an eyebrow and looked at me. Do you want to see him? I looked at my reflection in the floor-to-ceiling window. Still in the dress. I shook my head. Everything that needed to be said. I said it. Nathan nodded. Turn to the manager. Tell Mr. Harmon my wife needs to rest. She's not receiving visitors. If he continues to linger. His tone didn't change. You know what to do. Yes, sir. The manager left. I knew the Yates had the reach to make Ethan walk away tonight and keep him from getting close again. That was part of why I chose Nathan. Part of why I chose this. I needed somewhere safe. I needed something sharp enough to cut through every knot I'd tied myself into. I changed out of the gown, put on something comfortable, settled into the car. It pulled away from the hotel slowly. The city lights moved past the window. I leaned my head back and closed my eyes. Not the flood of relief I'd imagined. Not grief either. A flat, open calm. And somewhere under it, something faint and new. Like the first edge of wanting something again. I knew Ethan wouldn't let go easily. But this time, I was not standing still. I had married someone else. The car stopped in front of a quiet estate, one of the Yates properties. When I stepped out, Nathan gestured toward the house. Study. Let's talk. The study was large. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked a still garden. Nathan took 2 documents from a drawer and set them under the light. No preamble. Amended prenuptial supplement. And he paused, looked up, the formal withdrawal notice the Harmon Group sent out this morning. I picked it up. Black ink on white paper. Effective immediately, all capital commitments and cooperative agreements with Carter Family Enterprises are hereby terminated. Interesting. My family had been counting on Harmon money to keep the lights on. The Yates had quietly applied pressure and made the Harmons pull out entirely. My family was about to have a very hard few months. As for the $3 million, already in an account. My name only. My money to do with as I chose. Efficient, I said. Put the document down. Reached into my clutch and slid a thin folder across the desk. My grandfather left me a 100-year-old vineyard in the Swiss Alps, full ownership of the estate and surrounding land. You've tried to buy it 3 times through intermediaries. I didn't sell. The last appraisal came in at $3.2 million. I'll give it to you for 3. Consider it what I owe you for today. As for the marriage certificate, I'd rather not file one. Neither of us needs to be someone's first divorce. This wedding was about one thing, enough of the Yates name behind me to make my family back off, and enough weight in front of me to make Ethan stop following. If you ever meet someone you actually want, and you need me to explain any of this, I will. Whatever you need. Nathan smiled, picked up a thicker folder from beside him, and pushed it across. Take a look at this first. I opened it. More than I'd expected. Inside, anonymous industry analysis pieces I'd published under a pen name. Several project briefs I'd slipped to Ethan or my father through back channels. And photocopies of handwritten thank you notes from several prominent women in the city's financial world. Addressed to W, thanking her for her counsel on asset allocation and investment strategy. Initialed, not signed. But anyone in the right circles could find out who W was. Several of Ethan's early calls that paid off well had your analysis in the background, Nathan said. And the times your family looked like they were going under and then somehow didn't. That quiet capital that came in from nowhere? It wasn't the Harmons. Your family probably thought it was. He looked at me the way no one had looked at me in years. Like he could see straight through the careful, accommodating shell. Mia, you always felt like you had to build a family first. Like that was the only door out. He paused. You could have walked out years ago. You've worked hard, he said. And another beat. You've wasted time. My fingers tightened slightly on the folder. These years of invisible effort. Not invisible to everyone, it turned out. Only to the one person who should have been paying attention. A feeling moved through me. Something between ache and release. I pressed it down before it could show. The assets are a bonus, Nathan said, shifting tone. They prove capability and discretion. But what the Yates are actually interested in is 2 things that can't be put on a balance sheet. First, the ability to strike precisely under pressure and negotiate from a position of nothing. Second, a clear knowledge of your own worth, and the decisiveness to act on it. He leaned forward slightly. $3 million isn't payment for a vineyard. It's a statement of intent. A down payment on what I think you're going to be worth, which is going to be considerably more. The study was quiet. That's fair, I said. I closed the folder. Every ripple flattened behind my eyes. Mr. Yates, good doing business with you. Nathan stood, poured 2 glasses of water, handed one to me. Good doing business with you, Mia. He called me Mia, not Miss Carter, not Mrs. Yates. $3 million hadn't bought a title or a piece of information. It had bought a future, a bet on what I was capable of becoming. The Yates were placing a wager. That night, in the Yates estate, I slept better than I had in years. I knew, from the moment I dialed that number at the airport, from the moment Nathan said agreed without missing a beat, I had stepped onto a road with no return. Somewhere, Ethan was still furious, still confused, still trying to figure out how to take me back. He would never understand that every time he let Cassie cross another line, every time he silenced me with our family's reputation, he was chipping away, piece by piece, at the version of me that had made him her whole world. The Mia who still existed now had shed that skin and found edges she hadn't known were there. Whether the Yates bet would pay off remained to be seen. But for me, those $3 million were the first move in the game I was finally playing for myself. The most important capital I'd ever had. The end.